Hello people, welcome back. I'm Manish Wagle and this is my YouTube channel. And in today's video we are going to learn about basics of Linux. In this video we will completely focus toward the terminal side of the Linux and learn the commands which will help you to navigate and do other stuff through terminal. So at the end of this video you will get familiar and comfortable enough to use the Linux terminal. So without any delay, let's start. At first, let me talk about what is Linux. Linux is a open source operating system. It is free and many people misthink the word free as free of cost. Although most of the Linux distros are freely available and you don't have to pay any extra charges to use them, the main meaning of free is not in terms of money but as in freedom. That means you have total freedom of how you wish to use your system. Currently I'm using Kali Linux to demonstrate the tutorial because I happen to have the VirtualBox of Kali Linux in my PC. But there are many other Linux distros with many other features and you can choose the best distro for you and your workflow. The main popular other Linux distros are Ubuntu, OpenSUSE, Arch, Fedora, and many more. So let's move toward the terminal. No matter whichever Linux distro you use, there must be a terminal emulator. And currently I'm using the default terminal emulator from Kali Linux. Once you open the terminal emulator, you can see the name of the user currently logged in your system, name of your PC, and current location on your file directory in the side of your terminal. Now let me show you few commands and how to navigate or use the terminal. First thing I want to show you is the command who am I. I also want you to know that there is a better way of navigating the terminal, that is by using the tab button in your keyboard. That means if I type who and type tab for one time, nothing happens, but if you tap double, then you can see all the commands available which starts from who. That means if I want to complete any command and I don't know exactly what that command is, I can type few words and press the tab key which is right beside the Q key in your keyboard. You can see all the available commands, and if I type I and again tap two times, M and tab, then you can see that it auto completes because there is no any other command which starts for WHOA. But who am I? Now if you press enter, you can see currently logged in user. It is useful when you are remotely accessing someone else's PC and you don't know the current username, as in not in every shell you can see this information. So who am I might be useful while accessing remote PCs or in other stuffs. To clear the window, you can type cl here, clear, and enter. Now if you want to access the previous command, then you can use the up arrow in your keyboard to get them. That is, if I press up, I can see that I just typed clear, and again if I press up, we can go back to the place who am I and again use that command, and it is very useful. So remember, when using terminal you have to use tab and the arrow key the most. Okay, so let's move on. Another very useful command is pwd. Pwd stands for present working directory. It will show you your current location. That means in the file system of Linux where you are currently located at. For me, I am inside slash home slash Kali. This is the directory on which I'm working at right now. If I want to know more about certain command, I can use man command to know more about the command. That means if I type man and pwd, it will show me the manual of the pwd command. That means what does pwd does? It print the name of currently working directory, and we have parameters such as -l or -p. So you can see here, you can find all the necessary information about the command using man command. Man stands for manual, and to get out of this manual you have to press Q and it will bring you back to the terminal. Similarly, if you want a shorter version of the help, then what you can do is type pwd and --help, and it will give you what are the options available and what it does basically and how to use it. It is also a shorter way of knowing what a command does, because in manual it gives too many information which we might not require, but in help it will shrink that information. Okay, so let's clear the window again. Now ls means list. That means the ls command lists all the available files and folder in our currently working directory. That means if I type ls, then you can see we have desktop, downloads, music, public, video, document, picture, templates, etc. These are the directories and files which are currently available inside /home/Kali directory where I am currently at right now. So if I want to go to any, and again, if you want to know more about ls, you can always type man ls to know more about, to read the manual of the ls, and ls help to see the help of the ls command. Here you can see ls lists the information about the files, the current directory by default. To move into the directories, we can use cd. That means if I want to go inside that desktop directory, I should type cd desktop. And again, you can complete the sentence by typing tab. Linux terminal is case sensitive. That means I cannot use a small d over here as there is no such directory available, because our desktop directory starts with capital D and not with small d. So to go inside desktop, you have to type cd space capital D ESKTOP and it will take you there. If you want to come back from that directory one step, then you can type cd ... will take you one step behind. And now again we are back to Kali. So let's again go inside the desktop and see what is available inside desktop. As you can see, nothing comes up. That means currently the desktop directory is empty. Now let me teach you how to create the directories. Mkdir is the command for creating a directory or a folder in any other directories. Let's create a directory named Linux. Now if we type ls, you can see there is a folder called Linux. To go inside that Linux, we can type cd Linux. And now we are inside the directory which we just created. Inside here, I also want to create few more directory. So let's do that. Let's create a directory with name your name, or say like. So now we have a directory with the name like and subscribe. So we have a directory called Linux. Inside Linux we have like and subscribe. Now let's move inside the inside the like directory. So to do that, we can type cd like, and currently you can see the like folder is empty. Now let me teach you few ways of creating a file inside a directory. So now let's create a file inside a like. We can use touch command to create a file, and there are many ways of creating a file, but what touch command does is it just create a file and do nothing with it. That means we can just create an empty file, and in future we can edit the file the way we like. So if I type share.txt here and ls, we can see that it just created a file named share.txt. If we want to see what is written in certain file, we can use cat command. Cat stands for concatenate. That means if now I type share.txt, then it will show me what is written here. But in our case, the file was empty, so there was nothing written. Now let me show you a not so good way of writing something in a file. There is a command called echo, and what echo does is it echoes. That means if I write anything after echo, it just print that line. So with a little bit of trick, we can send that thing inside our file. These two arrows signifies that anything what comes out of this command shall go inside here. That means if I now type share.txt and enter and try to cat our share file, then we can see this text has been inserted inside our share folder. Now let's move one step behind and go inside our subscribe folder. To go one step back, you can use cd dot and type ls to see that we are now inside our Linux folder. And to go inside subscribe, we can type cd subscribe, and now we are inside our subscribe folder, which is currently empty. Once you start using Linux for a better or for your professional way or in your day-to-day life, echoing everything is obviously not a productive way. You normally use some text editor to do all your text work, and the most popular one available are Vim and Nano. For a beginner, Vim is a bit complicated, and so that's why I'm not going to cover Vim in this tutorial, but I want to show you a little bit about Nano. To create a file using Nano, you just type Nano and the name of file. For example, let's say comment.txt. And what Nano does is open it inside its text editor. Now you can see a comment.txt file is created, and now you can add anything. It is just like your common text editor. You can use enter, tab, annihilator, backspace, delete, or any other thing, and write the way you want your text to be. And once you are done, you can save it by pressing Ctrl O and enter. And to get out of here, you can type Ctrl X and it will take you out of your Nano text editor. Now to see what is inside comment.txt, you can type cat comment.txt and you can see all the text we wrote inside. Now I want to talk about Linux file system and hierarchy. For a moment, let's come out of our VirtualBox and go inside Microsoft Paint. And let's draw something. At first, what we created was Linux. We created a folder called Linux. Inside there, we created two folders. One was like and another was subscribe. Inside them, we created a file. share.txt and comment.txt. As you can see, it is forming a tree from here to here and here. From here we can directly see that share is a child object of like, and like and subscribe are child object of Linux. And if we go further upward, we know that Linux is inside desktop, there are music, documents, videos and other folders in as a brothers of the desktop, which are all contained inside our Kali directory, and Kali directory is inside home directory. And home directory is inside root. This is the file structure of Linux. That means at the top we have root, or which is also called slash directory, and below that there are many other directories of like boot, etc, opt, seer, and many more, which all have their own significance roles in the Linux system, and each of them have other folders and files, and this is how our tree of Linux is formed. Now let's move to our another section. I want to teach you about relative path and absolute path. At first, let's talk about absolute path. Absolute path is the path of any file if you choose to represent them from either home or a root directory. That means if you want to go to this comment.txt file, and if you chooses to name its path from your home directory, that is /home /kali /desktop /linux /subscribe comment.txt, then it is a absolute path. But for every user, their username is their home directory, because I am currently using Kali as my current user, so this Kali is my home directory, and I can replace this with this tilde sign. So if I use this tilde sign and define my path from here, then this is a absolute path of comment.txt. Also, I can use the path from root. That means if here is a folder called etc and I want to go here, not inside our home directory but inside other folders of the root directory, then I can type /etc and it will take me inside this etc folder. Now let's go back to our virtual machine and see about the absolute path. If I ls, I'm currently in my comment folder, but if I want to go back, and from here we are currently at here, and if I want to go from here to this share.txt file, or say inside this Linux folder, then by using absolute path, what I can do is I can type cd /desktop linux like, and by entering I can change my path from subscribe to like. Similarly, I can use cd /etc and go inside the etc, which contains a lot of other folders which you currently might not need. So now let's go back to our comment folder. So using absolute path again, cd. You can also go to your you can also define the absolute path from the root directory, that means starting from /, but it is not so wise to use root if you want to go inside your home directory, because you can use tilde sign and shorten the path. But if you wish, you can do that by typing /home /kali and /desktop Linux and subscribe. So you can use this, or you can simply replace these two files with the tilde sign. Both do the same thing. Now let's talk about the relative path. Currently we are here in the subscribe folder. Inside subscribe folder, that means in the place where comment is located. But if I want to go inside this share folder, then it will be more wise to go back to this subscribe folder and go inside this like folder, rather than going all the way up to our root and accessing the file. And to do that, I have already taught you how you can go one step behind. That means if I use cd ... I can go one step behind, and by using /like, now I have moved one step behind and entered the folder name like. So by doing this, I can simply change the position or currently working directory relative to my currently working directory. Hope you get that. If you want to create a file in other folders than your current location, then what you can do is use relative path. That means I can simply type those and define the path where I want my file to be. That means I can just type /subscribe and type life is beautiful, and if I ls now, there is nothing except the share in my current working directory like, because the place where I just created a folder is not the like but in subscribe. So if I choose to go inside subscribe and ls here, I can see a new file called life is beautiful. To remove the file, you can type rm command. If I type rm life is beautiful, it will simply delete that. And if I move one step behind and I type rm -r like, it will remove the file like and all the other folders and files recursively which lies inside the folder like. So remember, rm to remove file, rm-r to remove the folder with all the content inside them. Let's create that folder again by typing mkdir like. Now if I go inside subscribe and if I choose to copy this file from here to our like folder, then what I can do is type cp space the name of the file I want to copy, that is comment.txt, and the location where I want to paste them, that is like. If I want to change the name of the file but keep the content, I can choose to write the name of the new file here. What I can do is great. And now if I go to cd ... like and type /ls, then I can see the great is here, but if I cat, then the content is available here. If you did the same mistake as I just did and typed cat and enter and stuck here and don't know how to come out of it, then you can type Ctrl C to cancel the command and return back. Another very useful way of using relative path is if I want to copy that comment.txt, but I don't want to go inside the folder subscribe, then I can again do that using that same relative path. So if I type cp dot slash subscribe comment.txt, and now if I just press enter, oh sorry, it should have copied, but okay, it's fine. T and enter. Now I am inside the Linux, but I just took the file from our subscribe and bring it here. Okay, let me show you how you can rename a file or move a file from one place to another. So here we have a file named guid. If I want to move it, that means if I want to remove it from the folder like and place it inside the folder subscribe, then what I can do is use mv command. If I type mv guid and dot slash subscribe, it will remove this guid from here and take it to subscribe folder. We can confirm it by going there. And our guid is here. And if I go back to our like folder and ls, it is no more here. Now if I want to change the name of the comment.txt, I can again use the same mv command, but instead of providing a different directory, I can simply give them different name. That means I can simply say share.txt and press enter, and now our comment.txt became share.txt, but it has the content of the previous content. If I want to know more about this folder using ls, that means not just the command but what type of file they are, what permissions do I have in those files, I can use ls-la, and it will give me far more command than just the name. That means when it was created, when it was first modified, what are the name, what are the permissions, who is the owner, and many more. So as you can see, this is the permission available for this file. That means owner can read and write, group can read, and other can only read it, and there is no execute permission in this file. So if you want to write some basic command line terminal code and want to run in the Linux, what you can do is simply type, okay, let's create a file and I will demonstrate you a simple bash command. So here we already have a guid file, so let's open that guid in our Nano editor, and let's just remove it. Okay, so let's write a simple command, echo hello world, and let's save it. Now if I try to run that guid command by typing dot slash it doesn't let me the complete the command by typing tab, and I have to type all the name of the file, and even by typing manually and pressing enter it simply says permission denied. That means I don't have the permission to execute the file, because as you can see here, there is no permission for execution. So let's change that. If I want this file to be executed, or if I want to change the permission of any files, I use chmod command, and to specifically change the execution permission I use +x. +x to give permission to execute, -x to remove permission from execution. And now if I ls, you can see the color of grid has changed, because now it carries execute permission. So now if I type /g and tab, autocomplete works, and by pressing enter you can see hello world is printed. chmod can be used to change the permission of other files and folders as well. You can see the complete manual of chmod in man. Currently we are at Kali directory inside Kali user. To see if other user exists, we can go inside /home folder and see if there exist other folders inside home. That means if I go to cd/home and ls, we can see that there is another user Anis inside this folder. That means another user with the name Anis exists. So to change current change the user, we use su command. Su and Anis will change my user from Kali to Anis, but it will ask me to type the password of Anis. So let me do that. And now I'm inside Anis. And previously once I had said that if you had to work remotely and there might come some conditions where you can't see your names, then the command who am I might be useful. And you can see that I can only get this $, and there is no name or folder shown in this user. So who am I will give me Anis and will be useful. On the same way, pwd will also be useful, because currently I don't know in which position I'm at. And if I type just cd, it will take me to the home directory of the current user. If I don't specify in path, it will take me to the home directory of the user. So now if I type pwd, I should be inside /home/Anis. When you don't get your name and folder in the cell, that means that your bash script is not running, and you can manually run the bash script by typing bash and press enter, and now I can get a complete cell. And here I can see that I am inside Anis, Kali and currently desktop. So remember, if in your shell you are not getting a proper shell, it means your bash is not running, because we are using the bash terminal, and by just typing bash you can retrieve it. Now if I again want to get out of Anis, I can type exit, and it will exit me from bash and the user and bring me back to Kali. As you know, you have administrator in Windows PC, a similar user with most high privilege is available in Linux as well, and that user is root. Root is most powerful user which has the right of doing anything in your PC, and hence for day-to-day use running your PC as a root is dangerous, because if you mistakenly delete any file, it will not stop you but will just delete it and your PC might break. So you have to be a bit conscious about using root and where to use it. But if you want to log in as a root, you can simply type SU. If you know the password of root, type it here and authentication fails, because I don't remember the password of root, because I haven't quite nicely configured this VirtualBox. So another way of accessing a root is if the user which is currently using the PC has sudo right. Sudo means those users who are in a special group called sudo, which have the privilege of using the sudo commands, using the root command. That means if I want to go inside root user, I can type sudo and su. That means switch user, but by not specifying any other user, it will take me to the root. This sudo give me the power of root. And now by pressing enter, again it will ask me for the password, but this time it asks me for the password of this current user, which I know. And by pressing enter, now I am user root. And by pressing CD, you can see I am inside the home of the root. And if I type pwd, you notice that it is inside /root and not inside /home, because the file system of the root user is not accessed to any other user who don't have the root privilege or sudo permission. So if I just exit from here and if I go to root folder and /folder and ls, you can see that there is a folder called root over here. But if I try going to root, it says permission denied, because I am not the root, and root has the power to stop anyone from accessing its files. But if I try going to home, and you can see there is another user called Ernest, but if I want to use that user, I can simply type Ernest and I can enter inside Ernest and access all of their files. You can access the file of any other user unless specified, but you can't access the files of root user unless you have the root privilege. I guess this is it for our first tutorial. I hope you learned something, and if you wanna learn more, have any questions, please comment down below and I will try to answer your questions. If you wanna learn about specific something in Linux, maybe you wanna learn about the partition system, wanna know how to create your own system, wanna learn about Arch Linux, how it is installed, how to set up it, and many more, then please comment down below and I shall create the video for that. So for now, thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Thank you.